Right, now I want to head up to Brisbane now and introduce our very special guest in Lions skipper Dane Zorko. G'day, Dane.
Morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
No, always welcome. Now, before we get onto your game, I want to talk about the big Brisbane win yesterday. And I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. The girls were sensational yesterday. I thought their pressure and their ability to take their chances inside 50 was, absolutely fantastic for the club. And as you can see there, the girls were able to, kick a couple of goals and really turn that momentum, which, just before half-time, that was a huge goal by Wushner. So sensational to Emma Zielke and obviously Craig Starcevich. Third time lucky for them, but a super proud day for the club.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and Dane, it was a massive year. Congratulations to the Brisbane Lions girls and Craig Starcevich, as TJ said. Just want to have a look at the score lines of your game yesterday. It was a dominant display, the most convincing win the Lions have had this year, for no doubt. To kick 102 points in the wet was an amazing achievement by the Brisbane Lions. An indictment on Essendon. Hooker tried his hardest. Merritt did as well, but there weren't too many other winners for the Bombers. And Dane, you got beaten up around the midfield, I suppose, against the Western Bulldogs in Ballarat, but you really made a statement earlier going inside 50, and you played like it was a dry day early in that game last night.
Yeah, well, I think touching on last week's game first, we actually beat the Bulldogs in a lot of areas that if you can beat them in that, you normally win the game. So our contest stuff wasn't actually too bad, but we knew we had to bring that last night. Obviously, the conditions sort of was that hard contested ball style of game, which, we've sort of prided ourselves over the last 2 or 3 years with. And we changed a few things at training throughout the week, entering inside 50, and we weren't so reliant on Eric and Joe to, put it on top of their heads and then hopefully take a mark. We were able to use different avenues. I thought Dan McStay came back into the side and really straightened us up a little bit. And we had a really great spread of goal kickers as well. But really proud of the boys' efforts last night. As you said, to kick 100 points in the wet, probably the wettest game that I reckon I've ever played in. It was absolutely torrential there at the start of the game. So really proud of the boys.
One player who made it look dry was Lachie Neale. Can you talk to us about his interrupted pre-season? Because he burst into the first few rounds last year and was just running on top of the ground. It's a slow start, but we're hearing he's been hampered by an injury, hasn't been able to do the full pre-season.
Yeah, he's probably struggled a little bit. He's had a couple of calf issues that sort of kept him out of the first 5 or 6 weeks of pre-season. So he didn't play his first intra-club match to the second game against the Gold Coast. So he's, just taken a little bit of time to find his feet, but he was back to his best last night. And obviously hurt his back a little bit in round 1 as well. So he's been a little bit interrupted, but he's done a lot of team stuff for us throughout that period of time. And it was great to see him get his hands on the ball last night and really start our drive forward.
Dane, from a media perspective, probably more so than a Brisbane Lions perspective, the story within the story was Joe Daniher playing against his old club, and he finished the game with 25 touches, a couple of goals, nearly 600 metres gained. He's just giving the impression he's just starting to work out the Lions system.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the way we actually moved the ball last night helped him a lot as well. He was able to get up the ground a little bit more. And then he got rewarded really late too. He probably could have kicked another one just after this. He had a shot about 50 seconds later that he slid across the face of goal. But it's starting to get the hang of it. I think, as I said, Dan McStay coming back in the lineup last night really helped him with his game. I think we've probably been a little bit too reliant on just bombing it on Joe and Eric's head at times. And I thought last night the three of them worked together really, really well. And the fact he's able to play second ruck gets him up into the game a lot more. And I know he's enjoying that side of the game as well, getting up the ground a bit higher. I think we even saw him get a couple of touches in the D50, which I don't think he's done too many times throughout his career. So he's building really, really well. He's been a standout for us in a leadership point of view as well. So he's been a great addition to the club.
I noticed last night after the game, Chris Fagan said that he had Joe around for dinner through the week, but didn't talk any football at all. What do they do? Just sit around and watch maths or something, do they? Or
I'll tell you right now, I don't reckon the TV would have got turned on. Joe won't mind me saying this. He hasn't got a TV at home. He does like to sit and read, and he takes his mind off football extremely well. But he really does have that white line fever. That's one thing I've really noticed about him. When it comes to training and games, last night it was pretty much he just took over. He was instrumental in the advice he was giving our forwards. Even he was in Fages' ear throughout the whole game. Every time I was on the bench with him, he was telling Fages what their next move could potentially be. He was just so involved in the game last night. And it's funny because throughout the week, he's cool, calm, collected. What you see is what you get with Joe. But yeah, that white line fever kicks in and he's a completely different player. And you know, he was sensational last night.
He hasn't got a TV.
Has he got Netflix?
No.
He hasn't got a TV.
Well, he hasn't got a
What's he
TV.
watching
On his
Watch
phone,
live,
on his phone, TJ. That's how we would watch
You
it.
wouldn't watch a movie on that.
On the
Silly,
laptop,
Kane.
boys. On the laptop.
Yeah, on the laptop. There you go. Dane, we've spoken a little bit about leadership this morning and Patrick
TV.
Cripps and Marcus Bontempelli. You've done nearly everything you can as an individual in the game. Your form and where you're at and what you're focusing on in this stage of your career now.
Yeah, I think for me, it's more about
Good mark.
seeing where the game's at, the position of which the game's at. Obviously, I've been playing a little bit more forward, but you know, throughout certain times in different moments, it's my responsibility, I feel, as a leader to get in and have an impact on the game. But we've got some great young guys coming through, like Zach Bailey, obviously Jared Berry on the screen there, that need to start developing and taking the club forward in the future. And I feel like I can help that. But in certain moments, I do need to get involved with the game a lot more. But the start of the season for me has been probably as consistent as 2019 season. I've been able to have an impact in both areas of the ground, which has been you know, great personally, but I think it's helped the team as well, being able to play those both positions.
Time for the vote, Stain, and what a player Daniel Rich has been for the Brisbane Lions. And he had 28 kicks, 3 handballs, 940 metres gained. He was my best on ground. Hugh McCluggage just gets better and better, Bill.
No Zorko.
Lockie Neal stiff.
Lockie
got
Neal's
him?
down the bottom.
What about Zorko?
there, Brad.
Dane just missed out. That's the thing. They're a great side. Too many good players in.
What, so
Oh, Lord, eh?
you gave him a 6.
Yeah, if I could have had a fifth, it would have been Zorks.
I got something for you, Zorks. Zorko the magician.
Come on, Bill.
I've got this for you, mate. A dozen colourway chrome soft golf balls and a Odyssey Tour towel. Also 4 Travis Matthew caps. That's right, 4 of these to keep a lid on your golf game, Zorks. Also the Aquila shoes. Oh, you'll love these. And clothing, magnificent. Look at that there, Zorks. You'll look good in that. The bar fridge, best bar fridges in Australia. You ring up Bar Fridges Australia Monday and say, Bill said I'd get 10% off, you'll get it. Bar Fridges Australia, Ricks, a pair of Ricks eyewear. Use the code word chompers at rickseyewear.com.au. 20% discount. Platform 28, the best restaurant in town. Lordo loves it there because he gets it for free. And the AMFX.
I do not, Bill.
This is a custom-made fire pit. You get out the back there, Zorks, when it doesn't pour rain up there, and you sit there. Speak to Alan and the team. You get it's 100% Australian-made. AMFX.
What's that stand for?
I don't know.
Thanks, guys.
Zorks.
Appreciate it.
Good on
All
you.
right, good on you, Dane. Thanks for your time and all the best for the rest of the season. I'm sure we'll catch up.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thank you.
All right, thank
Cheers.
you, Dane Zorko, joining us there. Yeah, if you're going to watch Netflix on your laptop, you might as well just get a telly.
Yeah,
Don't you
I
think?
thought so.
Yeah.
Well, can we?
A bit weird, isn't it?
He's a bit different though, isn't he? Like he didn't come back to Melbourne, did he, after the end of 2020? He just went straight to Brisbane and got family
In a
members
way, you've got to admire him. It's like I
Yeah.
admire people with no mobile phones. Wouldn't that be great?